If I lost all my food tomorrow, and I have, I've actually had to restart my pantry probably about 3 times by now, maybe a little more, and had to rebuild a 30-day food supply completely from scratch, there's just one thing I'd focus on: building a realistic food supply that works for you and your household. Hey friend, Morgan here. One of the biggest mistakes that new people make, or actually sometimes even experienced preppers, is that they keep buying food that they don't eat. And they give me the excuse of, well, I'm going to eat it if I'm really hungry or whatever. And I just don't understand this mindset, because when I'm in a stressful situation, I want familiarity. And the point of preparedness, at least how I teach it, is not to survive an incident, but it's to thrive in whatever is going on. And that doesn't mean feeding my family unfamiliar food. It means keeping a sense of normalcy throughout whatever unnatural or normal, whatever, the emergency disaster that is going on. But listen, I'm just some person on the internet. If you want to keep prepping food that you don't eat, go for it, okay? But if you're still here, let me show you the exact way that I would build a food supply. Also, for decades, preppers are always going to tell you that you can't prep a little at a time, and I highly 100% disagree. That's because for the past over 15 years, I've been saying you can prep little by little. And over this past 15 years, you've still been able to prep little by little, regardless of the situation. I know things seem bleak, but trust me when I tell you that even, especially now, with inflation the way it is and everything rising in price, it's okay to prep within your budget and to prep a little bit at a time. I promise it's okay. So in saying that, start with the food that you eat. Pasta, oatmeal, peanut butter, rice, canned soups, canned chickens, pancake ingredients, cereal, shelf-stable milk, and snacks. And you know what? Like, you may be thinking, oh, well, a lot of this isn't long-term. You are right on that money there, because let me let you in on a little secret. Come here. Come here. Hi. You can eat all the food in your house during an emergency or disaster. That includes the cereal and crackers that are not long-term. You can eat any food that's in your house, in your pantry, your cupboards, whatever it is, right? Foods that are like crackers and cereals and things like that, that's fantastic food to start with, because it's not long-term. And you can start with a system of, well, if I'm not going to get from my fridge, but maybe I can get from my pantry from cereals and things that we like to just kind of munch on, whatever, right? And, shelf-stable milk, I can use that for the cereal, right? And I can have little snacks from my pantry that me and my family like. This is morale boosting, okay? And then you can, of course, get from your canned foods and all that. Stockpile what you eat and eat what you stockpile. That's the rule. I didn't make it. Well, I kind of did. Me and some other preppers, But them's the rules. All right. If you want to be a prepper, you gotta follow the rules. Okay. That's not my law. It's the prepper law. Okay. And one of the best ways that you prep your normal food is by making a meal plan. A while ago, I made a video that talked about exactly that, making a meal plan and then building the ingredients off of those meal plans. You know what you in your household already eat, okay? So build that meal plan and then separate the ingredients and say, okay, this spaghetti meal needs pasta, sauce, and then some sort of canned meat of your choosing, right? Like, that's a really easy one to do. Preparedness gets way less overwhelming when you think of it like this. Like, what am I already eating and how can I just stockpile that? Like, we're not trying to reinvent the wheel. We're just trying to stockpile foods that, we already eat. So as I was talking about earlier about you can eat from the pantry, that's where the layered system comes in. The very first layer is the everyday pantry. That's your everyday pantry. That could even include like your freezer and your fridge. And then your layer 2, that's going to be your extra shelf-stable foods, things like this. This is more shorter term. And these are things that aren't going to last super long time, but they're things that we're rotating through all the time, right? And then layer 3 is your long-term staples, which are things like in Mylar bags and things like that, which we also rotate through. Like if I run out of rice in my short-term everyday layer, then I'm going to go to my long-term layer and I'm going to replace that short-term layer, right? So we're still rotating through that long-term layer. It's just going to be later rather than sooner. Or whatever. Layer 4 is actually skills. That's why I have 4 layers. Skills, so things like gardening and microgreens and sprouts and these types of things that are going to help spread out your food storage, okay? Food storage is a really good layer, okay? But it's not the only layer. Like having indoor hydroponics or a little microgreens or sprouts or like some container gardens, things that you can grow, things, learning how to forage, hunt, fish, if that's possible in your area. And then cooking from scratch, right? So like the way that you build this food storage system is actually knowing how to cook from scratch. But you don't always have to cook from scratch, right? So sometimes I'm going to take a bunch of canned meals and make it a meal, okay? Because that's just how my dinner is crumbling, right? That's how the cookie crumbles. That's how the prepper meal crumbles or whatever. And especially during emergencies, like I'm not really wanting to make super complicated meals. And I think that's the appeal of a lot of freeze-dried meals because it's like, oh, I just add water and it's good to go. And that's fine. Like I'm not against freeze-dried meals. But at the end of the day, I think some people can be turned off by a lot of freeze-dried meals, and freeze-dried meals do take a lot of water. Canned goods, they just don't take a lot of water. Now, in saying that, I do store rice and beans, and I do think that you guys should be storing those long-term dried staples. And then also have that water, which, hold on, I'm going to talk about that in just a minute. If all of this is sounding really cool and great to you, I actually have a system laid out exactly like this for food, water, and Mylar bags. This system takes away this overwhelm. This system shows you exactly what to do. It's not about storing random things. It's not about, hey, this prepper told me to do this. No, it's about building a system that's going to work for you and your family, to reduce the overwhelm, to fit with your budget, and to make sure that you are prepared for whatever comes your way. Because that's all I want for you, fam. I want you to be prepared. So go get my No Overwhelm system. Link in the description or in the pinned comment or right here at Preparedness.com. And don't forget to sign up for my newsletter while you're there. So as I was saying, I don't want to build all these overwhelming meals all the time that are like super complicated. Sometimes I just want low effort meals. So that's the next part. So while you're building this, build some low effort meals. So things like canned chili and soups and instant potatoes and pasta meals, like those instant pasta meals. I was looking at those today. They, the just add water. I saw one that was just add oil. It was like a cold pasta. It looked actually pretty dang good. Okay. Oatmeal is a low effort. Those easy rice meals, again, those are like in our everyday, like the tuna packets. Great. Amazing. Low effort meals. Okay. Peanut butter and jelly. PB. Well, jelly takes the fridge, so maybe peanut butter and peanut butter and Nutella, or maybe just peanut butter or almond butter, whatever you eat. Slap it on some bread, or just eat it straight from the jar. During an already stressful situation, you may not want to break out all the stuff to do like all this massive cooking, especially in the first 1 to 3 days. Like you really want those low effort things because it's already super stressful. So have a plan for those. And next, I want to talk about actually cooking. I think having alternative cooking options is part of your cooking plan, okay? It should be part of your cooking plan because you do have meals here that require cooking. And if it's a blackout situation, you should involve, okay, the cooking options with your whole cooking system, right? So what would you add as an alternative cooking option? Well, there's the Coleman stove, which really should be used outdoors. That's the recommended thing to do. But I've used it indoors with a cracked window, and that's good for ventilation. Do whatever is best for you, okay? There's also the alcohol stove. And recently I used the Sterno stove, and I was pleasantly surprised with how well and fast it cooked rice. I've always said that it's best for heating, but I just proved myself wrong, fam, okay? So please go get that as an option because that's a great indoor option and it was really easy to cook with. So find the option that's going to work best for you and have multiple options, like lots of people like the barbecue option or the propane, Blackstone. We have those options too, or, fire outdoors, obviously, not in your house. Unless you have a wood stove, then you could cook on that. That's, contained, not an open fire. Okay. And then don't forget Water. Okay, I did tell you I was going to talk about this. Don't forget water. Food without water kind of becomes a liability. Like even canned foods, you need water. You need more water than you need food, okay? The whole rules of three, I don't follow that. After a day without water, you're already like your body's starting to shut down. You have fatigue, mental fog. You literally start shutting down after one day without water, like any water or liquids or anything. So you really need water for drinking, cooking, hygiene, and cleaning. Okay, you need it for all these things. Don't underestimate how much water you need. And I know water is bulky and heavy, but my system covers all the different ways to stock up and to find water and all these things. So don't just have like one way of sourcing water, have a few different ways, your bathtub, your water heater, store water. It's a whole system. And then the last thing you're gonna do is just every grocery trip, just buy a little bit extra. What's your budget for prepping exactly? So like, is it gonna be $10 a week, $20 a week, $25 a week, $50 a week, $100 a week? The sky's the limit. You can do like $1,000 a week. Like what is your budget? And just stick with that, okay? You can actually take your pantry pretty far. I have a video coming up soon where I have been doing a $25 a week challenge that has been showing people how much you can actually get on $25 a week. Now we do get paid weekly, this is just kind of how our paychecks worked out. Yeah, so this works. But if it's like every other week, it could be $25, but still you're gonna see how quickly it adds up. But just work on your budget. If it's just a couple cans a week, maybe a gallon of water, great. That's it. That's seriously enough. That's all you need to do to get started, because it's going to momentum. It's going to spiral. It's going to cannonball. It's going to snowball. It's going to, it's going to go wild. Just start thinking like a normal family and build that stability. And that's really what this is. It's not fear and it's not apocalypse fantasies. We're just changing the way we think about preparedness. It's just being prepared for a stressful situation, but not making it more stressful, and having that system in place for your food and water and your long-term storage and whatever it is. Let me know down in the comments how you are building your supply and how far along are you? Do you have a day, 7 days, maybe just one meal? It all matters, okay? There is no right or wrong number. Start at 1 day, then go to like 3 days, then go to 7 days, then 14 days, and then 30 days, and then 60 days, and 90 days, and a year. Oh, you're gonna be cooking after that, okay? Thank you for watching Conquer Tomorrow by Preparing Today. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.